Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to another episode of the Lanes Podcast. Thank you for having another listen, guys. Just before we get into the show, just want to talk to you about our new sponsor that's come on board, Books and Gifts Direct. Books and Gifts Direct is Australia's largest direct seller of books and gifts. They sell their products in lunchrooms, reception desks, and now in more than 25,000 workplaces in Australia. Their books and gifts sell up to 70% off recommended retail price, and as the largest direct seller of books and gifts across Australia, they have a strong buying power, and without the overheads of a shop front, they can afford to pass on significant savings. So guys, if you want to take a look at this, the link will be below in the description. But guys, let's not waste any more time. Let's get straight into the show. Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to another episode of the Lanes Podcast. On today's episode, special guest in the building, got Mossy, coming back from another episode. We're talking about the Nrl Grand Final review, everything that happens with the Nrl Grand Final review. So guys, let's not waste any more time. Let's get straight into the show.
Go the mighty Panthers, let's put them to the test.
Go the mighty Panthers.
We're here to beat the best. Yeah, go the mighty Panthers, there's a chance here to be great. Go the mighty Panthers all the way.
All right, we're back for another episode. How good was that? How good was the weekend? How good was it?
It was cracker. It was cracker.
Fuck, man. It's been 18 years since we won one, and the history repeats itself again. Have to lose one to win one as usual.
Couldn't have been better timing too. Long weekend.
Right, it was so... I didn't even know it was a long weekend to start with. But how fucking good was it? Fuck.
Nah, it was cracker. It was cracker. So many good moments. I'm sure quite a few people got belted up the end.
Oh, right. Western Sydney was going off.
Yeah.
I don't know, because I live in Quakers Hills like 10, 15 minutes. I was hearing sirens.
Yeah,
And
no,
car
it was
fucking
crazy.
signals and everything.
It was crazy.
But yeah, we'll get into the actual game of it. Obviously, we're both Penrith fans, and at the end of the day, it's going to be a lot of biasm. But if you don't like that, get fucked at the end of the day. But yeah, nah, fucking NRL review. I mean, starting with the intensity of the game. Like, from the get-go, the intensity and just the sheer speed of it was very fast. I thought it was, apart from the Penrith Storm game, it was the fastest game in the finals.
Yeah.
Like, I thought it was so quick.
Yeah. Especially, just backing it up, going from the game with Para was probably the game of the year, and then backing it up against Melbourne.
Yeah.
And then, we normally like to kick off and then set the tone on the defensive end.
Yeah,
but
100%.
I think we received, and it was from the get-go. It was so quick. It was real physical game as we thought it would be, and yeah, it turned out a treat.
Yeah, well, I just think like from the get-go, that intensity, right? Like, I think because our forwards can lay such a great foundation and a platform, it just gives Nathan so much more extra time to kick and think about what he wants to kick. And for me, I don't think he realised that, like, the more he kept kicking to Jackson Paulo was the actual option we got to get successful. And I think the first couple of kicks he did, he put them up just so we can get him, so he can push him back into the in goal.
Yeah.
And I think those repeat sets, it's not like, the thing is with South, it didn't beat him in the first 20, 30 minutes, but it got him in the back end.
Yeah.
It got him in the back end. It just got him to keep going and going and going.
Yeah, well, that's the whole point of the thing, isn't it? It's those
absolutely.
kind of kicks and force and repeat sets. It's, tire out the other team, keep the pace up, and, they'll run out of energy, and then that's when they things start to open up, and then that's pretty much what happened, wasn't it?
And it led to the first try we got with Matty Burton, and I just think, from just watching it straight away, it looked too easy. It looked like it was too easy.
Yeah.
I thought, they're going to call it back up for an obstruction, but Campbell Graham just popped up. He just made a decision.
Yeah, he dug in too
and
much.
Liam Martin, if he ran it, and if Campbell Graham fell, obstruction. That's a fact. But he didn't fall. He stood his ground, and fucking Burton straight away clean.
No, I think it was Reynolds. He ran up.
Well, it was between them.
Yeah.
Between them, right? Anyway, he ran Reynolds or Graham, whatever one. And then he got that line. I don't know, but it reminded me of the first 3-4 rounds. I don't know what it was, but when Matt Burton hit a line where he just sliced straight through and he hit a try. I don't know if it was against it. Might have been against the Roosters or someone.
It was probably the Roosters. He carved against the Roosters.
But he ran that line so well. Like, it's like he caught it straight and then in the same road moves to the left or right.
Yeah.
I thought that was outstanding. I thought Matt Burton, geez, there were so many players that could have got Clive Church. I think he was definitely in the mix of it.
Yeah, I've heard a whole lot of mixed things. Like, I was pretty happy with Cleary getting it, but then someone else was saying Dylan Edwards playing really good.
I thought Dylan Edwards probably should have got it.
So,
But like then you look at the other side, Cleary, his right foot won us the grand final.
yeah. Yeah, no, I don't think there's anyone in the game that has a better kicking game than him.
No, absolutely. And then, once we got that try, I think it just laid that setting down. And I think, we didn't score a lot of points, obviously, but we're able, a 6-point lead for us. It's kind of like a 12 to 14 point lead for other teams. And I think we're just so good at, controlling the lead. But then Cody Walker comes out of nowhere and, the individual try he had was probably one of the best tries in the grand final. It was the best try in the grand final.
Yeah.
I think, when watching South, I thought they were more dangerous out of that 40 to 50 metre mark than they were in the 20 to 30 because they didn't really get any opportunities in the 20 to 30. The one opportunity they got, they scored. But I don't know. I just thought that when South had the ball,
had a bit more room.
They had a bit more, but they looked more dangerous with the ball. That's just my opinion. Like they looked like they wanted to. They could score. They were the team that looked more threatening than any other Penrith team they versed. Like they versed Parramatta and Melbourne, and South looked like they could put more points on, and they did. They put more points on both of those teams combined. Parramatta only scored 6. Combined they scored 12 points South, and then what's his name? Parra and Melbourne only scored 12 points combined. So I just saw it show me like how fucking dominant South's defence was. But their defence coming from 2 months ago, mate, they would have gotten belted by Penrith if they played like this.
Yeah.
Belted. So I think with Souths, with the way they played defensively, I don't think it's going to get talked about as much as it should. Because if they don't verse any other team against Penrith, I think they probably beat Melbourne. They'd beat Parramatta. Anyone would beat Parramatta. So like they probably
going to rub a lot of people the wrong way.
No, who cares? Pretenders. An average Penrith beat a good Parramatta. That's a fact, isn't it?
What did your mate Barnesy say? The 3 things that are certain in life.
3 things: death, taxes, and Parramatta not winning a comp.
Being eliminated from the final.
The local sex pest from Pittown likes that. But yeah, no, fucking going back. Like, I thought South's defense was really, really good. But I think the game changer was Api Coruscant getting that 2 points. So when Penrith had that little, go forward, and it was at the 10 to 12 metre mark when Jairo interfered in the play to ball, and he knew it was basically a dead play.
Yeah.
So he just went. He tried to go for a scoot, tried to go for a try.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen it freeze frame, but when Appy the penalty got blown, he just looked at the South defence and just smiled at him because he knew it was two cheap points, and that's why I think Penrith got Souths more in the mental game too.
Yeah.
Like they thought about how they're going to win the process.
Yeah.
And Isaiah Yeo said it at the post game. He said we just stuck to our process. We didn't care about what the score was, and I think that shows you how determined they were to win. And I don't know, like just with processes, they could have easily just tried to go for the quick play. Like we saw Luai when I think someone had a break. I don't know who it was, but he kicked it straight out to Momorowski. And like it wasn't a bad
but
like,
something you could just take yourself, what I mean?
Just dummy and just take the line yourself. Like that's your opportunity to take it. But like I don't know, I just think that like that if it hits Momorowski and he can draw in, Critter's going away for a try.
Yeah.
So I think, it's just the way you got to think about it. But yeah, I thought South's defense was really, really good. Their attack was the best. I thought they were a better attacking team.
Yeah,
when I say
as predictable as it is, they are. Yeah, they look very dangerous. They're always
going to go left, but they were more damaging than Penrith, I thought.
Well, they weren't clearly.
No, the ball. Like this is the thing. South said, like, I don't care that South lost. I like that they lost, obviously, but they had 2 opportunities to score. They had 1 opportunity to score in our 20-metre mark, and they did it. They scored. So they were able to ice the opportunities. And then I just thought that. That try, I thought that if Reynolds iced either the field goal or the conversion, do you reckon South would have won if it goes to extra time?
I think no, still no. I
don't
know. They just had
all the momentum was with them. Yeah,
but like they had the momentum for the last bit of the game, but like that shifts very easily, especially when you have it for that period of time. And especially going into like extra time, I don't know, they just looked gassed for a lot of that game.
Yeah, I think that they couldn't lay down a platform. Yeah, they couldn't lay down a platform, and then,
and that's credit to like Penrith's defense. They just wear you out every time you're trying to bring it out of your line.
Every time that they freaking tackled them, they picked him up on the first day. They picked up Taff, and Taff. Look, I think Taff's going to be a good player, but he didn't think about it. He's running sideways and getting hit. They can just pick him up and just pull him back 10 meters. He's going to get hit, or he's just going to go down straight away once he gets hit.
Yeah, you got to find your front.
Like you can't get pulled around. And I think that showed with a bit of experience with him. I think Jackson Paulo too, a little bit of experience. Carlos was messaging me, and he's not a big fan of Jackson Paulo. He said he did a couple of times where he crosses the game, but that inexperience of catching the ball on the sideline and then not going straight down, like he stood up and Burton could just pull him off to the sideline.
Yeah,
Like
but in saying that, that's credit to Cleary's kicking again.
Yeah,
He put it right on the money, and then, even if you went down, he still could have got dragged over. So he wasn't really put in a position to do much there, was he?
No, and I listened to a bit of the Bloke and Bass podcast yesterday. I don't know if you saw it, but I didn't see it because you couldn't really get a bird's eye view. But he said when Penrith, when they kicked it to Penrith's offense, Dylan Edwards and Brian Toto, what the Penrith forwards did, if it was at the 20-metre mark, if they got tackled first tackle, they just stayed at the 40-metre mark. And they let their backs do runs because that way it gives them the rest.
Yeah.
And then I think that tactic really worked for us. Because you look at it, Fish was cooked, Leota was cooked. Who was the other one?
Dylan Edwards
was cooked. And then Toto was real bad. Like they all shouldn't have played.
Yeah.
And Scotty Sorensen. They all shouldn't have played. So it just gives them, those 3 out of the 5, time to get back and just time to set on their defense. I just think Cleary's kicking game, like we'll talk about now, is it the best kicking game in a grand final in recent memory?
Yeah.
I can't remember someone who basically kicked the team to death.
Yeah.
Like off the top of my head, like there's no one that I think off the top of my head. Like obviously a Cooper Cronk would have had one game where he kicked the team to death. But I don't know. I just think that every time he got the ball, and it's funny, South never pressured him. Every time he got the ball.
They did a couple of times, but it's still like it didn't really. They've done it once really good, and it forced him out of a kick. He had to pass out of it.
Yeah.
And I think Tyron May ended up putting his stuff in a bit of forward spin on one of the kicks.
Yeah, Tyron May. Like, I don't know what to say about him. It's just that was tough. It's tough to watch. It's tough to watch him sometimes. And look, he's obviously got to be a good bloke, but like, fuck, I can drop a ball in front of 39,000 people. I can do that. Like, full credit to him. Obviously, he's a champion, and obviously he must be. He does do things well on the field. I just don't know what he does well on the field. But I'm just joking. Hey mate, I think he's the MVP right now and partying up in the fucking Sunshine Coast. Looks like he's having a fucking great time. Imagine that. Imagine you win the comp and then you basically you just hire out a whole bar and you just anything you want. Yeah. Like, imagine that. Like the Giannis, they went to Vegas. Imagine how good that would be.
Yeah, no, it's stupid.
I
wouldn't know about it, but it's stupid.
Go away. But yeah, I just thought that Penrith's injury told, I couldn't believe how bad. Like, I didn't know Dylan Edwards had a broken foot.
Yeah.
Like a broken foot. Like he was walking around in a moon boot.
Yeah.
He didn't train. He never trained throughout since the first Rabbits game he never trained. Like, so he basically trained once a week playing the game, really. Like that for me, if that doesn't warrant, he has to get a fucking award at Penrith end of season. He'd have to, most courageous or courage. And Clays with the Cook shoulder, like that's worse than what people think. Like he's going to go get surgery.
Still going to get surgery, yeah.
He's going to get surgery. He'll be out for 4 to 6 months. Perfect timing because it's the off season, but still he'll be out for 4 to 6 months. And I think Penrith next season at the start of the season we won't win as many games. We might drop a couple, but it's amazing how they did it. And I just think that ranking of hardest grand finals from recent memory, I think 2015 North Queensland, and this one is like the hardest I've seen because they had to go and do it the hard way.
Doing the hard way, and it's not only going the hard way, but versus the likes of Melbourne.
We versed Melbourne and South.
Or even just that's probably the best Paras played, to be honest, like in finals footy.
The only other game they played good against was Melbourne when they beat Melbourne.
Yeah.
So that's the best game they probably played. But he's saying that. If that's the best Parramatta can do. And they scored, and the try they scored was lucky. Like, I don't really care what anybody says. It was a bomb. Dylan Edwards didn't want to take it. If he takes it, it's not a try.
You'd rather, at least a knock on it would have been better than.
Like, Parramatta, it doesn't shock me that Parramatta got trumped. But, in saying that, I think it was the hardest premiership I've seen to date. And that's not even because I'm a Penrith fan, but just, the intensity of all the games they played.
The intensity, the speed, the battling through injuries versus the top teams. Yeah.
I couldn't think of anything worse than running at fucking Nelson or Soft Solomona. Go away. And then you run at Tom Burgess. And then Parramatta doesn't have any,
Even running at Campbell Graham. Far out. That dude's a machine.
He's a big boy, Campbell Graham.
He's not. No, sorry. Who am I thinking of? Cameron Murray. He
was knocked out in the game. I don't care what anyone says.
Off.
He was knocked out. And then Jai Arrow was knocked out too.
And then what's his name?
Dane Gagai.
Yeah.
Gagai and Cameron Murray, they shouldn't have been able to come back on. I don't care what anybody says. Of course they're going to pass in grand final. And at the end of the day, if they did the Penrith, I wouldn't care as long as you get the win.
Yeah.
But they were fucking cooked.
Yeah.
And like I just thought they're like, fuck.
No, Murray, he's a machine. He's a workhorse. He just stuffing. He just defends his ass off. He doesn't, he runs good lines.
Because whenever you watch Souths, like, because he's not offensively like a machine, like he doesn't really like offensively get through anything, you don't really recognise what he does on the field. It's kind of like Isaiah Yeo. Like now people are talking more about Yeo because of his ball playing. The work he gets through, the structure he sets, like he's probably one of their best talkers. Like Murray, because you always look at it, Cody Walker, Reynolds, and then if you have Latrell on the field, they're going to get the accolades.
Yeah.
Cameron Murray sets the platform.
Yeah.
He tells the forwards where to go. He does all the work. And I think for him, if like...
As well as Damien Cook.
Yeah, if you were to build a ultimate starting 13 from both Penrith and Souths, you'd have to have Murray in there at somewhere. Yeah. At some point, like either second row or lock, you'd have to have him somewhere because he's just that brilliant. Like he's that good. And then like... Was it Freddie and Brandy love him? And they picked him for Origin. Like he was playing lock this season. They picked him on the second row because he's just going to get the job done. Mm-hmm. Like he's just a player that at the end of the day he'll get it done.
Yeah, no, he's someone you definitely want on your team.
Even though he's a fucking rabbit, like you've still got him on the team. But no, I just think that like they did so good. And then like the only thing for me is where do they go now? Where do Souths go now? Because they're losing Reynolds, they're losing Gay Guy, they're losing Jaden Sewer. I don't know if they're losing anyone else, but that's 3 players that are pretty integral to their team.
Players, yeah.
Well, Reynolds is their main kicker and goal kicker. Then you got Gay Guy, who's their strike centre, and then you got fucking what's his name, Jaden Sewer, who's become a real decent defender and has played Origin. So that's 3 players that you can't really just replace. Where do you reckon South's going to go now?
Yeah, it's hard to say. Like there's a few teams that like you thought were going to be garbage at the start of the year and they end up doing all right. And, it's hard to say. Like, I think still haven't... They put a lot of...
they lost Wayne Bennett too, obviously.
Yeah, of course. And that's a big part of it.
Benji Marshall's retiring today too. That might be breaking news. I don't know.
Yeah. They put a lot of confidence in Cody Walker, don't they? They're looking to build around him a lot.
Well, this is the thing. This is what I don't understand. They're going to offer Cody Walker a 3-year extension, but they didn't want to give it to Adam Reynolds because they thought of his age, he'll deteriorate. They're the same age. And obviously Cody Walker's probably better and he can probably last a bit longer because he's a bit bigger and stronger. But I don't understand it because I don't think Cody Walker's going to be half... Well, he'll be good, but I don't think he's going to be as good as what he's going to be without Adam Reynolds. Because he lets Cody just be Cody and do what he wants. Like he lets Cody go out at the back and just sweep and just play footy.
Yeah, it's kind of like similar to Penrith, Absolutely. Like Jerome is like a freak, but when Cleary's not there, it's a completely different player.
And obviously they have a plan, and it must be Blake Taft. They must think he's going to be a really good player from the get go, and I think he's a good player, and you're high on him. But I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure why they let Reynolds go. I would have given him whatever he wanted.
Yeah,
like maybe not whatever he wanted,
especially like a loyalty thing as well. You know what I mean?
Plus, he's a junior, so he gets benefits. Because if you have juniors in your team, I don't know what the rule is, but the rule is like the club plays, like the club or the NRL pays a certain part of it because they like keeping juniors in. And I just don't get it. I honestly don't understand it.
Yeah,
I don't understand it. And then losing Dane Gagai, I think he can be replaceable because it just looks like I think Dane Gagai's a good player, but he's obviously a player that plays better when he's with better people. Like everyone's like Origin Gagai's like the best Gagai. Gagai, whatever, he's not, whatever you pronounce his last name, but like, I think he can be replaceable because sometimes in games you can forget he's there, like in a sense, like. Yeah,
he can go missing a little bit, but like every time he like runs the ball, he's always strong with the ball. He's always hard to put down. He's always throwing offloads and he defends really well.
Yeah,
but if he doesn't get involved enough, he does go a bit, a bit quiet.
Yeah, and I just think like the biggest loss for them, obviously, I think it's Reynolds, but Wayne Bennett, like. I don't know, like the new coach Jason Demetrio, he's been with Wayne Bennett for 10 years, something like that, and he obviously wants to have his opportunity. But geez, I'm not too sure. Like I think it's a big loss losing Wayne Bennett. It's a big loss because at the end of the day, I think Craig, like if I wanted to be coaching a season by someone, it'd probably be and I wanted to learn how to play footy, it'd be Craig Bellamy, like Craig Bellamy would be. But if I wanted a coach that I knew would always have my back, it'd probably be Wayne. Like Wayne is just a player that everyone wants to play with. And I don't know, like, it's kind of like BMAC for us when we played basketball. Like, you just want to play for him. You just want to do your best for him. But I think that loss is gonna. I don't think it will affect people, but it's gonna show. If South don't get off to a good start next season, people are gonna be like, was it the right decision to let Wayne go this and that? And I just think I'm not too sure with what they're gonna do, but.
What's he doing now? Is he coaching the new Brisbane team? Or?
Well, that's the big rumour in mail. But like at the end of the day, I don't think the new team's set in stone yet. I think they got to pass some things and get something doing because I think they want them to come in and not just be like a bottom feeding team. Like they don't want them to come in and be dormant for 3 years. And I don't think Wayne would take the role if they're going to be dormant. Like I think they want them to kind of be like Southeast Melbourne Phoenix in the NBL. Like they came in and they're kind of competitive from the get go. They didn't make the top 4 the first year, but this year they're in the top 4 and they're competitive and they're having a go. And like they got like a big acquisition of Mitch Creek, So I think that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to get like a big acquisition. And I thought it was going to be Cameron Munster, but I don't think it's going to be Cameron Munster anymore. Because looking at all the fines and the shit of punishment he got.
Munster?
Yeah.
No. Well,
He got a $100,000 fine.
100K.
100K fine. He got.
Yikes!
I'll get it up because it is outrageous.
How much is he on a year?
I don't know. He's probably 700-800 at least. Like he's a pretty good player. He's a pretty good player.
100K.
100K. Where was it?
That's tough.
Wait. It said.
Yeah, I heard they're looking at letting him go somewhere. I heard that somewhere.
Yeah, well,
could be wrong.
The thing was, they wanted to let him go but they didn't want to let him go. They wanted to sack him. So, but what they wanted to do for some reason was
that to do with like money?
Yeah,
so
not even that. They just had enough of what he was doing. Like they just had the shits with him being fucking stupid and shit. Like they just like, we don't like what he's doing, and we think he's like putting our club, a bit lower. And this is what I've seen on social. This is what I've seen. It's a Cameron Munster $100,000 fine, suspension, additional behavioural conditions as part of a disciplinary action agreement. Stood down from the senior leadership group. Will enter a 4-week rehab program. Will abstain from alcohol for a period of 12 months, so a year, right? Consultation with club medical team and health professionals to individualise a comprehensive ongoing welfare program.
Is that so? If he breaks that, you just sack from the team, pretty much.
Yeah, I think like the craziest one is that.
Far.
I think the craziest one is the 12 month. Like he hasn't really done anything terrible. Like if you ask me, like he hasn't really like been fucking stupid in the media. Like he hasn't really like done anything dumb. Like apart from this, like obviously doing whatever he did. Like at the end of the day, it's still not. It's not. Sorry, I'm putting quotation marks. It's not proven that it was cocaine or anything. But fuck, you put a fucking.
It's hard because No.
At the end of the day, this is the way I look. I think Kempy said it. He said, "Mate, fucking." At the end of the day, like they've been in a bubble for 2 years. They haven't been living normally for 2 years, and all they've been doing is playing footy and then staying with all these people. It'd be so tough. It'd be tough, and I'm not gonna fucking warrant what they did because I think it was just stupid. But like you don't do fucking cocaine in front of fucking randoms because apparently they met these guys on the street and they said, if you want to do some cocaine, we got it for you. And they fucking came up and they fucking filmed them. Like fuck, like you just don't do that shit.
Yeah,
like and obviously look, it's prevalent. Footy boys, in any sport, they like having fun and they'll do whatever they want to do. But fuck, just think about it. Like if you're gonna do something, do it smartly.
Like if you're going to do something like that, have some wits about you.
Margie said, look, at the end of the day, let the boys play 6 again, but fuck, just do it in a certain area. And I just think it's crazy. And then Brady Smith got $30,000 fine. So all this, the money for them, I don't think is the worst part. Obviously from Munster.
I didn't see the video, but why is there such a big difference between the fines?
It's because Munster, Is
that because he's in the leadership group?
Bigger name. Well, Brady Smith was in the leadership group too, which is weird. Because obviously he's getting a $30,000 fine compared to 100. But I think
$70K difference. That's fucked.
Cameron Munster. I think because he fought Ben Hunt in the Australian Kangaroos camp and he got stood down from the Kangaroos. And then in Queensland Origin camp, he broke out of training and went to get on the piss. So I think those prior engagements Melbourne didn't like, so they fucking put a big one on him. And I think it's basically Melbourne's like, if you fuck up, you're gone. So fuck. And that's the thing. Melbourne don't usually do
trying
that.
to make an example out of him, sort of thing.
Melbourne don't usually do that. So I think either Munster's either going to fucking put up, or he's just going to fucking, or unfortunately break it and he'll go and play for Brisbane. Because if he plays for Brisbane, Wayne coaches, he's the marquee player now, and he wants to go play. He's always said he wants to go play in Queensland. So it's based in the Sunshine Coast, closer to Rockhampton. It's kind of like a match made in heaven, really. But 12 months, I think, fuck, that will be tough for him. 12 months, because
Anyone.
After a game, everyone's having a beer. You can't have one. You know, say they win the grand final next year. He can't have alcohol. You know, like, what the fuck is that? Like, what, he can't even have a beer to celebrate? Like, I don't get it.
I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world, but, like, it's stupid. Like, I don't think that really...
Well, I think they actually look at it performance-wise. It's going to make him a better player. Because if he's not on the alcohol, what's he really putting bad into his body, apart from his diet? Like,
well...
Because they're all eating...
Well...
Well, in season, obviously, but obviously, you know, like they all have pretty decent diets, obviously, like because they're all living with each other, they can't go out and get Macca's, they can't go out and get some bad shit food. You know what I mean? So they're all probably eating, you know, pretty clean and healthy.
You've got to get on that KFC diet.
The Colonial, what'd you go to, Colonial?
Oh shit! No, I've got a few different ones. You know, everyone gets a zinger box. Add supercharged sauce to the burger.
So I'll put pepper mayo on it. Pepper mayo is kitties. The pepper mayo is good there.
Yeah, or I get like a twister box. Add supercharged to the twister, no tomato.
Yeah, I'm not big on fucking twisters. If I want a wrap, I'll go get a burrito from Mad Max or something. They're kitties.
That doesn't count.
How do you mean?
A burrito and a wrap.
It's a wrap, right? Technically, it's a tortilla wrap, isn't it? Correct.
All right, carry on.
Yeah, that was true. Yeah, I just think fucking mustard. That's a massive fucking. Imagine that 100K gone.
Yeah, no, that's messed up.
I don't know what they're going to do if it's Storm. They might make him donate it. I reckon that's what they should do, make him donate it to someone. But don't just let it fucking be dead money that NRL has.
Yeah.
Fuck, that's crazy. 100K. It's not worth it, eh?
No, not even slightly. Not even slightly.
Now he's basically on a watch. If he fucks up once, he's gone. Like, at the end of the day, they can't beef him for his career. So if at Christmas time he has a beer and a photo gets out, he has a beer, he's fucked.
Yeah.
He is fucked.
Yeah, he's on thin ice, isn't he?
He's strife. He's done. So I just think it's crazy. That's obviously a tangent there, but yeah, now with South, I just think it's got to be hard for him to come. I don't know if they'll make a grand final again in a while, just based on the fact that they're going to have to blood some juniors and they're going to have to get back into it.
This year is like their best.
Like, I
don't know what juniors they've got coming through, but
they got Taff. I don't know what backline juniors they have.
Do you reckon they'll slot him to the half? Because that's his position, isn't it?
Well, you look at it, he's not going to keep Latrell at a fullback.
Yeah.
You know, so I think the only position, like, he's going to be guaranteed in the 17. Like, the worst comes to worst, he'll be a 14. You know, and he'd be a pretty good 14 because he'd come in, he'd zing, he'd be pretty fast. But I just think he'd have to be halfback. Because who's their halfback now? What, Anthony Milford? You're going to play Milford there? Like, I think Milford and Cody Walker. Milford's going there.
He's gone there, is he? Okay.
I don't think Cody Walker and Milford as a half combination would suit. Just because who's the game manager there?
Yeah, they're both sort of like rhythm players, aren't they?
Has to get... Like if Anthony Milford stayed at the Broncos and he had Adam Reynolds, I think Milford would go back to pretty good form because he wouldn't have to do as much work. Or if he had a Nathan Cleary with him, like a game organising halfback says, Milf, I'm going to get you the ball here on this tackle. This is where is your opportunity. You know, like instead of him having to think about when his opportunity is going to come, like he knows it's going to come.
He's more just a spark and it's not the creator and then
like
create a spark as well.
At the start of the year, Luai kind of knew when he was going to get the ball and that's when he could have his opportunity and go. Yeah. And like, I just think that's good. That would be much better. Like, obviously, Taff has to be a pretty good organiser if they're going to let Reynolds go. And I think he's definitely going to be. I think he'd be halfback, and then I think they'd put Milford at 14. I think Milford could be pretty good at 14. I reckon he'd be all right. Like he kind of go around in the ruck, just be a little fast body, kind of like when Pappenhausen first came into the league. Like he just came through and just zipped through. I think it could be a decent opportunity for him. And then I'd rather play in South Sydney than go play in England.
Yeah.
I'd rather play in South Sydney. I'd rather take a bit of a pay cut and still play in Australia, still like have a basically pretty good lifestyle. Like South Sydney, like you can go live in Coogee area, or you could live, fucking somewhere in Alexandria. It's not too bad. But yeah, I just think that South, I wouldn't write a fucking pen for them, but I think it's going to be interesting to see what they'll be like.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they've still got some good pieces, but yeah, it's not really, they're not really like cohesive. They don't seem like a cohesive sort of.
No, I think
doesn't seem like they will be losing Reynolds.
And I think, them making the grand final this year, it's a successful season. Because at the start of it,
it's a win. Like, after how they started.
Well, to be able to be 2 points away from winning the grand final against Penrith, who beat Melbourne, who beat Parramatta, who beat some pretty good teams. Without Latrell too, like if they had Latrell, they win the comp. I think they win that. They beat Penrith because I just think Latrell would just be a bit too much damaging for them. I just think it's that good.
Yeah. Well, especially like close to the line, Latrell, when he's close to anyone's line, like he's
how are you going to stop him?
He's a freak.
He's fucking nuts. Like I think he's probably the best player in the league, and that can be he stayed there or there, but I think he's just done it for so long. Like you look at the South Sydney teams, man. The Sydney Roosters teams, he was fucking special for them, man. He kind of got him out of the hole in the grand final against Melbourne. He dominated Will Chambers. And then the season after, like he had some great moments. So I think he
was the best player in Origin.
I thought he was better than Turbo. I think he definitely was, and I think it was a crime that he didn't get the fucking players player.
Yeah, in any of the games.
Like obviously Turbo had some good games. Like I'll give it to him, but fuck, Latrell consistent over 3 games. He didn't fuck up once.
No,
he didn't fuck up once.
Yeah, he was consistently the top.
And you got to think about it, he's been playing fullback now. He has to go back to playing centre. Obviously, he's a better centre than he is fullback probably, but that's a different change. He's had to play different games, and he hasn't played in that front line for 2 years defensively. And he took an intercept, got us a bit of a meat pie. He was running the treaty for a couple of metres there, but fuck, he still got us to try. I think he was a massive loss, but yeah, obviously it was a successful season for Souths. I don't really care what anybody says.
Yeah.
Now we'll move on. Can Penrith? This is my opportunity. Like we saw on media, they said, well, this is the start of a dynasty with Penrith. They're losing. They're going to lose Catewell and they're going to lose Burton, who have 2 pretty big losses, like in their starting 13.
Yeah.
But I don't think they lose anybody else within that 17. And depending on what happens with Kickout, he might leave too, because if he gets a big money contract, I think. If you won the comp, you can kind of leave. If they lose all these players, where do you see? Do you think Penrith can still build a dynasty?
Yeah, well, I mean, like they've got a lot of like good pieces behind them, like that Spencer Linyu. He doesn't get a lot of minutes, but he's a freak when he comes on. Like I feel like there's the positions that are leaving. I feel like they aren't too crucial. I feel like still got Cleary, still got Fisher's still there. We've still got Appy Coruscant. Coruscant is underrated.
We've still got all our foundation players.
Yeah. I feel like, to be honest, I thought Coruscant was probably the best hooker this year.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard because everybody thinks Grant. Well, actually, I think Brandon Smith was pretty good, but
he played a shared role, didn't he?
That's the thing. So he didn't have to play as many minutes as Coruscant. And then, what happened with Coruscant during the middle of the season. That could have taken an effect on him and put him in a downward spiral, but he didn't really seem like it affected him on the field.
Yeah, he chipped away. There's not many hookers that size that can defend like him.
Nah, he's tiny.
Nothing gets past him.
He's not big at all. I don't care what anybody says. And usually, you'd think because he's a small hooker, he'd probably get head knocks because he's not very big, the way he tackles.
Yeah.
But he doesn't really make a wrong decision, Nappy, ever. Yeah. And I think last week against Melbourne it showed how good he was because he got their markers. He just pinned them. He just went bang. And sometimes in the grand final, he pinned his markers. And he basically got us that 2 points to give us a bit of breathing room. So I think, I think he's definitely a top 5 hooker in the league at least. But I still think that Damien Cook's a pretty good hooker.
Damien, when he's at his best, Damien Cook, I think, is the best hooker in the game. I think
he's still a really good hooker. He's been a bit quiet in the past, but I still think he's like in the past couple of months.
He was very quiet until before finals, or up until Origin. He was very quiet.
I don't buy into that. Like if there was an Australian team, you got to pick a hooker now. I'm still picking Damien Cook.
Yeah, he's consistent. He's consistent.
Harry Green can't go for 80 minutes. That's a problem.
Yeah,
right. And I think he could leave too. He could go up and play with Brisbane. He could go play with the new team if that comes through. Brandon Smith doesn't play 80 minutes at hooker. He plays at lock too. And then you look at it. Appy and Cook are the only 2 hookers that play consistently 80 minutes.
Yeah.
So I think you have a good case for it. Obviously, now that he's on a premiership, it's a massive case. But the only problem is he will never play Origin again.
Coruscant?
Yeah, he'll never play Origin again. And what happens if he is the best fucking hooker next season and he is just dominating? You're not going to pick him? Yeah, I know he fucked up, but fuck. I don't think New South Wales can rob him and rob New South Wales.
Is what happened, and he got with a bird.
Yeah, and he broke COVID, so he brought her into the hotel. So, if say she had COVID and then he came through and he got COVID, every New South Wales player would have got COVID and could have pulled down the whole NRL.
Yeah.
So it is obviously pretty bad, but like, obviously he's learnt from it, and I just don't think you can rob him from being an Origin player. If he's
Well, even that little bit he played, he scored that try. He created a big
fast,
spark.
man. He was fast, dynamic, and I thought they should have kept him on for the last 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Because that way, at least you got strike, and then you can give Damien Cook. You can put Appy or Damien Cook as a bit of a lock player, and then you can just get him to go. Like, imagine you have Damien Cook, fucking take the ball up one, and then you have Appy come through, and then you have Damien Cook again. Like, imagine them just going like being hooker for each opposite fucking play. Like, it just would have been fast. Defensively, that would have been the question mark, obviously, but I think they could have they're both defensively pretty good.
Yeah. It's just it's hard to say, but
I
definitely don't think you could leave him out.
Yeah, I don't think you can rob him of a spot if he's warranted.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think push comes to shove, New South Wales will do that. Obviously, hopefully not. Hopefully he does, actually, because that way he can keep playing for Penrith.
But yeah, back to the point. Like, I don't think Penrith will be too far gone. To be honest, I don't think much will change.
No, I don't think so either. I think they're going to enter the realm of Melbourne and Sydney Roosters.
Yeah,
where they'll just
they might not be as good, but as dominant. But they have a very good defensive culture. I feel like that's what wins them. That's what wins them games.
They're losing Brett Naden too. That's the other player too.
Yeah, but he's not. He's in and out of there.
He's in and out, and I think because of last year's discrepancy, that probably took him to be in and out of the season. Yeah. So I think, I just think that I think Penrith will be in the top 4 for as long as Nathan Cleary probably plays.
They'll be winning the premiership as long as they don't play Tyrone May. No, you know what? I'm not a fan. Like, I love all the Panthers boys, but I don't really see a position for him on the floor. Like, he doesn't create much.
Tyrone May.
Yeah, he doesn't create much for the team. He can't run the ball really well.
He must be.
He doesn't have a kicking game.
There must be something he does.
And also, I'm not a fan of Charlie Staines either.
No,
I like him as a person. Like, he's a good guy, but like, he just doesn't do it. Like,
there's a reason why he didn't play, because at the start of the season he was a shoo-in every season. They let go of the source for him.
Yeah,
so obviously there must be. I think letting go of the source would have been, if we win the comp, wouldn't have been a bad option either, because you look at the source, he's a bit inconsistent under the high ball. I think he's been a great.
Well, he's inconsistent.
I think he's been a great Panther though.
He proved that when we versed South when he was playing.
I think he's been a great Panther though. Like, he's done a lot for Penrith, and like he didn't want to leave, so that shows me that he was loyal to the soil in a sense. But yeah, like, it would have been hard for him. Like the way Staines was playing at that time.
Yeah,
but he barely had to play defense. Yeah, because when he was playing against shit teams. Like, he played against Cronulla, where he put 4 on Cronulla. Like, fuck.
Yeah,
like,
but to me, he just doesn't do, like, he's quick, but like, if you don't have enough size or footwork about you, like,
and he's a fullback too, so I wonder how he would go at fullback.
Yeah,
and he
played a couple times. I was not happy, to be honest. His kick returns aren't too crash hot. His decision making isn't the best. He's not really a good ball player, and that's like something that's imperative. That's what, like, every great team has a good ball playing fullback, really.
Absolutely, and like it's funny, we probably don't have a great ball playing fullback, but Edwards does everything else really good.
Mm.
Edwards is probably a player that I didn't think was that.
But
good.
at least he runs the ball well. He returns. Yeah,
like he's pretty built. Like, he's built than what more people think, and I just think, as a Penrith fan, I didn't think he did a lot for us. And then when he got injured and we didn't have a clear cut fullback, it showed me how good he was. Like, how good he was. Like, how. Like, I think Critter did a pretty decent job.
I would have him at fullback.
Critter?
Yeah, I feel like he doesn't get involved enough. And when he does, he's...
Well, where are you going to have Edwards?
Yeah, well, exactly. That's what you suck.
And I think now that we've won a comp with that, you got to put Critter at centre, and I think that's what they're going to do next season.
Well, this is what I'm thinking. Like, when Cleary didn't play this year, I feel like Burton should have been in the halves.
100%.
With Luai.
100%.
Because every time they did, they won.
Yep.
And it was more organised, more structured. And then Crichton should have been in the fullback.
The reason why I said Ivan, because they put Tyrone May there, is because Luai and Tyrone May played 20s and they won a comp together there. But I don't care. He's not as good as Burton.
That doesn't mean
Tyrone
nothing.
May is not as good as Matt Burton.
Nah, not a chance.
So play your best players. Keep Tyrone May on that 14 role. At least he'd be
just keep him off the team list.
That's what I would do at the end of the day. But like, it's neither here or there. Like, look, at the end of the day, we won the comp with him in the 14. So obviously he did something. Like, some of the games, like against Parramatta, when Cleary was out, he actually played a pretty decent game. You know, and when we played the Warriors when Cleary was out, he actually didn't play too bad. He had a couple of try assists, a try each game, so he can do a job. I just don't think that 14 is his role, and if he's not playing in the halves because he never will, it's not. There's no real spot for him.
Yeah.
So it's good. I think he could. I think if he gets another contract offer to go somewhere, take it. Please take it. You know, take it.
For the love of God.
Better for you. No, better for you, but better for him. He gets to play in a preferred position. But I just think we can build a dynasty. Critter goes back to left centre. You could put Charlie Staines on the wing, but I think this guy Isaac Tago.
I like him much better than Staines. I think
he is very good. I think he can be.
I like Crichton on the wing though. Like he's. Yeah, I love him. Like the kick returns. And he's great under the high ball.
If Cody Walker does that pass to Toto, it's going over his head.
Yeah, sure.
Critter, he couldn't intercept that. Critter could, and I think that's why they have him, because he can play any position really. Like he could probably play any backline position apart from 6 and 7 probably. Even still, he would probably be a good 6, a runner. Like he'd be able to be all right, but like still, like fuck, you have to have him closer to the ball. I think that's just a fact.
Yeah.
Well, last year he got centre of the year.
Even like a second fullback almost. You know, like.
Basically what Souths do.
Yeah, exactly.
Sweep backline play. I think he'd be good at that. And if he can pick up his ball playing ability.
Sort of like how Turbo was in the Origin.
Yeah.
Like a second fullback.
Just let him roam. I think Penrith are going to, now that they won the comp, they're going to be a bit more free in what they can do. Yeah. I think that's what they're going to, I think if they do that, it's only going to be better. Because Critter is X Factor. It's written all over him.
Yeah.
Like he had that big play against South, and he had a big play against Melbourne where he got the try. And he had a big play against South Parramatta. We had another intercept, so that probably goes over his head. Parramatta might score. They probably would bomb it because, you know, they're pretenders. But fucking, you know, he's that good. I think he's that good. You've got to have him somewhere in the role.
Yeah. I think he's cemented his spot, for sure.
So I'm going to go last one. Your player of the match of the grand final. Was it Cleary, you reckon?
For me it's Cleary. I feel like he didn't do anything wrong except for where he got fended into the ground by Cody Walker. I think that was his only...
And the best part about it, he said it in the halftime interview, he said, yeah, I fucked up.
Yeah.
Like he took it on
the halftime, yeah. But like, still, that's still on the inside guy. The inside guy's got to push over, so there's no gap. So, but yeah, like I don't think there's anyone in the comp that kicks as well as him, and it sort of showed on Sunday. Like every kick he put up got right where it was meant to be. He put people in position where they couldn't do anything, really, could they?
No, not at all. He just put it. He put it just where you catch it, so you can have your momentum chase to get him back into the in goal, get him out onto the touchline.
Yeah, and like
a metre more, metre less, it might not be.
But well, like there's a few times where I thought it was going too deep and it was going to go on the goal line, but it sits up, and you know there's nothing there. And even if they don't get pushed back into the in goals, they're playing it on the 1 metre line.
You know, and that might be sometimes just as bad.
And exactly. Because the pressure they stuff.
If they get up to 20 metre mark to kick it back, if Edwards catches it on our 40. You know, he probably gets a 10, 15 metre there. We're back into the goal. We're back into the attack. And I think that's how we won the game. We just didn't let up. Yeah. And we would have fit a team too. I don't care. We were much fitter than them. Yeah. That's why we won the comp. We were the fittest team in the comp for the whole season. For the past 2 seasons, we were the fittest team in the comp. And I think that's why we won the comp. I think if we didn't win it this year, we would never win one. That's my opinion. Yeah. Because it just would have been too much mentally on the boys. But in saying that, full credit to them. I think if Cleary wasn't the player of the match, because I think, you know, the more I assessed the game, he was definitely the best player in the field and he controlled it. If it wasn't him, who would be your Clive?
It's hard to say. I feel like everyone played good. I don't think anyone played bad. Yeah. By one. But it could go either way. Like I feel like Dylan Edwards played really well. I think Dylan Edwards was really, really good. I'd give it to Matt Burton. Just because he had two really good plays, like obviously that try, but that tackle he got on Paulo pulled him out, and then he did pretty good in you know getting back into return, get us into the field. Campbell Graham quiet, you know, and he kept him quiet, and he's a much underrated defender, and he's not a centre. That's the crazy part. He's not a centre. This is the first time he's ever played centre in his life. So I think he probably could have got the Clive. Saying that, Bulldogs have got himself a gem. Like he's going to be a gun. I think Gus threw some more money at him. Yeah, he did. Because he realised, I think he was contemplating maybe backflipping, which would have been fantastic for us. But in saying that, if you want to play your halves,
the Luai-Cleary combination is just too good.
Yeah.
And I think Burton's a better player than Luai. Sorry, not Cleary, Luai. But I just think their fit's much better.
Yeah.
And it's hard
They
to
just
see
complement each other. I don't think there's any replacing them.
It's hard to see him go, obviously, but I hope he actually has a pretty good season. Obviously, with Kurt Capewell, I think he was been really good for us. He's consistent. He just gets the job done. He's tough. And then Brent Naden, obviously, whatever he played, he had a striker and he had a bit of X factor.
I wish he got more time.
Yeah, I thought he could have played at wing and then he could have put Critter at centre and then dropped Momorowski because I think Momorowski...
Yeah. Through the finals, I didn't rate him.
Yeah, I don't think Momorowski did a lot, but in saying that, he defensively didn't really fuck up that much.
Yeah.
So I think that's why they had him on the team. But yeah, I just think I would have given it to Burton.
Offensively, fucked up plenty, to
Terrible.
be honest.
He couldn't catch the ball.
And he got that ball in the centre and he was too worried about getting the quick one away.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just got to take a hit,
I'm not too sure
Yeah.
with where he does, but obviously at the end of the day, he's a fucking champion and we're not. So, we're not yet. So, but that's the wrap up. I think Penrith deserved it this year. I think they deserved it just based on the fact that in the past 2 years, they've been the best team. Like, consistently as a whole, they've been the best team. So I thought they deserved it. What about you? You reckon they deserved it? Like, you actually think they deserved it?
I don't think anyone can question that. They didn't deserve it.
Because I think last year, Melbourne, they obviously deserved it, but like Penrith had a better team the whole season.
Yeah.
They just had the experience.
Yeah, Melbourne had just been there before.
Yeah. And I think now Penrith, we're only going up and up.
Yeah.
Like, we're not declining off of this.
Yeah. This wasn't our peak, I don't think. Like, I feel like you're just going to keep riding this wave.
All right, early premiership favourite for next season. If you say who would win the comp next season right now? Penrith?
Yeah.
I think if it's not Penrith, it'd be Melbourne. And I think the Smoky, Roosters.
Roosters
with all the health they're getting back.
Their team
And
back.
I think South might drop out of the 4. Roosters go into that 4.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, Roosters are definitely back in there.
But guys, that is the wrap up
they're
of
healthy.
the NRL Grand Final, guys. I do hope you guys appreciate all the content coming your way. It was a great time to have Mossy back on board. Thank you guys for listening. You will hear a little bit more in the outro. But guys, thank you for listening. It's been a great time. Thank you so much.